afternoon. I'm heading out on a 4-night, 5-day canoe trip out of the Brent access point in Algonquin Park. So I'm heading out now and heading up to Huntsville to pick up a canoe that I'm renting. I'm going to rent a solo canoe for this trip because there's some fairly big portages, so I want something fairly light. I chose this week in advance because it is the height of the perseid meteor shower this week. However, looking at the weather, may not get any opportunity to get any pictures of the perseids. Specifically tomorrow, my first day out, it's going to be thunderstorms, apparently. It is going to be quite humid, so the chances of thunderstorms is quite high, but that's what happens when you go camping. So I've just picked up my canoe in Huntsville at Algonquin Outfitters, and I'm heading up to spend the night in Mattawa, which is at the top of the park, just because the access into Brent is from the top end of Algonquin. I could not get a campsite in Brent at the time, so that's why I'm spending the night in Mattawa, because there's nowhere I could camp closer to the park itself, or within the park. So, looking forward to this trip, even though thunderstorms look to be, as I keep checking the weather, what I will probably be experiencing definitely tomorrow. Here in Mattawa, Ontario, that direction is Ottawa via the Ottawa River, which is what we're looking at here. A large hill on the other side is actually Quebec. So the Quebec-Ontario border is in the middle of this river. And in that direction, if you follow it up, will take you all the way to Lake Temiskaming on north. Well, good morning. I'm on Cedar Lake now. It is 10 to 6 rather. I'm getting out early. I am a little nervous about this canoe, to be honest. The seat is up higher than I want it to be, and it is a bit tippier than I'm used to. So I'm going to take it easy for the first bit until I get used to it. First thing I gotta get to is across Cedar Lake to the first portage up the Petawawa River. I can actually hear the falls because it's so quiet this morning. Hopefully I didn't wake up too many people at the launch this morning when I came in. Anyway, so I've actually now had to switch my phone because my point and click just died, so not sure what's going on with it. And I will get out my main camera later, but I wanted to show you where I was going. So that's where I'm going in, but there's another river that comes out, which is the Nipissing River, which is over here, and that's where I'll be coming out on Saturday. So this is actually the Petawawa River. It flows into Cedar and then east all the way out of the park down to the Ottawa River. One of the main watersheds in the park. It actually starts all the way on the west side of the park, and you can do a trip, they can follow that whole river all the way through the park from one side to the other. First portage of the trip. I've already taken the canoe across on my main pack. This would be an awesome pool to go fish or trout fishing in the spring, but because it's right on the portage, it's probably overfished, and right now it's too warm for trout in here probably. They're probably out deeper in the lake. in 1888, a logger, A. Corbeil, died. He's buried in this area, probably right here. He died in the log jam below on the falls that I just showed the video of. So they put him here. There's an extensive amount of logging that took place in the park, and that's actually how Algonquin was first developed. It was set aside for the logging rights, for the logging barons, but eventually turned into a park. However, logging still goes on, mainly for hardwood. Initially it was all for the white pine, so most of the park, or a good portion of the park, it used to be a white pine, and then it is now secondary growth of hardwoods such as maple. Here's the next portage. Up on the longest portage for today. I won't be doing much filming on this one. It's 2,300 meters, 2.3 kilometers. So I'm just going to take it easy to get through it as quickly as I can. I probably won't do any filming along the trail there. So starting the 2,300 meter portage, and it goes up and over something called Unicorn Hill. So I guess we'll wait and see what that looks like. But I'm going to take my main pack now and then come back for my canoe and secondary pack. So this must be the start of Unicorn Hill. It's been pretty flat so far, maybe the first 500 meters or so, but now it's heading up. So, see how bad it is. Well, I think I made it to the top. Unicorn Hill comes up that way and then heads off in that direction. But they got benches here for people to cool down. I'm just going to keep going though. Whole bunch of ghost pipe all through this area. Apparently it is a plant, not a fungus. It's just one that doesn't have chlorophyll. Well, made it. First pass through the portage. It ends here. But funny enough, I just have to go straight across there to that side, and then there's another quick portage up and over the next lake. Narrowbag Lake, I believe it's called. So as I mentioned, there is logging still in the park. This is an old logging road. Don't think it's used for logging right now. It's more likely for forestry access, for maintenance to trails and that sort of thing. But as you can see, the portage crosses directly across it. So you do have to be careful in case there is traffic sometimes. Few and far between, but if it was an active logging road, you definitely want to give the trucks the right of way. Catfish Lake. Another 3 loons right in front. So this is what's left of an alligator. All the wood's obviously rotten, but it's a steam driven that would burn wood, not coal, and it could winch logs across portages, but then float a whole raft of logs down. So it was steam paddle driven, big boiler, and this is one of 3 or 4 that are left in the park that you can find the remains of. I may find another one tomorrow, depending on how quickly I get to the next lake. There's supposed to be one down on the next lake that I'll be sleeping at tomorrow night. That's in much better condition than this one. But yeah, this is an alligator. So, made it to my campsite. That's the north end of Catfish Lake. I'm at the south end on an island. Got this nice little beach strip here. Swampy area that leads around to the other side of the island. And while it is a campsite, it's an odd one. I've set up already. These seats were here, but there's no fire pit. I've looked around. I'll keep looking around a little later, but I've set up this area just as I can cook under here on my stove as need be. And I've set up my hammock and that over in this location. Not the greatest location to hang it, but it was a little bit limited. But yeah, so I made it. It's about 23 kilometers of hiking and canoeing back and forth today. So a good day. Probably going to have a snack for lunch. Wait for the storm to come in. That's still threatening apparently. And so it has started to rain. It's 4:30 now, or almost 4:30. So I'm going to start prepping dinner. I'm going to be having pizzas tonight. So I dehydrated some tomato sauce, so I'm in the process of rehydrating it now. So that's another 10-15 minutes for that. And I have some pepperoni and cheese and some naan bread, which I'm just going to cook on the stove. The rain has started a bit. I did hear some rolls of thunder earlier, but nothing major, so it might just be a light rain for the night. But wait and see. pretty good. I would do this again. This was the first time I tried this, so I came down to get water to do wash up for dinner, or after dinner rather. Did notice this chain and hook. Obviously an old remnant from the logging era as well. You hear it coming. Might be stuck in here for most of the night. It's only 6 o'clock now, but so be it. If so, we'll pick it up tomorrow morning. Well, looks like the rain's done for the night, or I hope. It's 8 o'clock now. It's real nice out. Still quite warm. Didn't really cool down that much, but morning guys, just get going here. I'm burning my bagels, but I was up at 4:30, broke down my tarps and everything, so just cooking breakfast now. It's 5:30 now, so I should be out of here by 6:30 at the latest after I have breakfast. And then we'll be heading upriver more to the next lake that I'm staying on tonight, which is Burntroot, but it's right at the south end. There's been a bit of wind already this morning, so hopefully I'm not going to be heading into it. Heading out to the next lake. Hopefully maybe see some moose along the way. It's a nice swampy area coming up, so there were some tracks actually around my site down the sound spit. There's some moose tracks I saw last night. They were old, but nonetheless, so they're around. Maybe see one. Coming up on the first portage of the day. There's 4, maybe 5 short portages around rapid sets that I have to do today by the time I get into Burntroot Lake. All under 500 meters, so not too bad. Too warm. So on the rocks in front of the falls, I thought somebody had set up a whole bunch of rock cairns, but it's actually Canada geese hanging out at the falls. So these are snowshoe rapids. This is the start of the second portage for today. This is where I saw the ducks and the geese. Sun is actually trying to break through, which is kind of nice. So hopefully it'll be a nice clear day shortly. It's only 20 after 8. So I decided to forego the actual portage. I lined up the side here instead of lifting out everything. Much quicker just to pull it up the river without getting in and out. Wasn't that bad to do anyway. I'm already wet. So here's the next portage for the day. Cedar Rapids. Portage over here on the right. 380 meters. So should be pretty quick. So this tree was chewed down by a beaver. You can see the actual teeth marks. Not so rare. Just baffles me because it's 3.5 feet off the ground. So it must have come up early spring while there's still snow in the woods and chopped down the tree, but yeah, usually a lot lower. I can't see a beaver standing that tall. If I do, or if it does, I don't want to meet it. to Portal Rapids. And over there is the last portage for the day. Not American, it's portage, not portage. Okay guys, here's the scoop. I've made it to Burntroot Lake. And as I was coming across Pearly Lake, last lake, there was a bit of a breeze and it was pretty strong. So I had a feeling this would happen. I'm not comfortable paddling Burntroot right now. There are whitecaps out there and we headwind all the way down the lake to the south end, which is where I'm supposed to camp tonight. There is a campsite here at the end of the portage, so I could stay here in a pinch. But right now what I'm doing is I'm just gonna have some lunch and possibly wait probably a couple hours, I would imagine, before the wind dies. It's only 11:15 now. So usually in the afternoon the wind picks up. That's why I was trying to get through here earlier. But right now, yeah, it's not safe, especially in this solo canoe that I'm not comfortable in paddling down the lake right now. So, see what happens. So it has started to die down. So right now, I'm going to start repacking. I'm going to put the camera gear away. So the next time probably see me will be at either another stop along the way where its wind has picked up and I've stopped again, or hopefully for the final campsite. Just going to make sure everything's battened down and put in watertight bags, so I don't want to lose this camera. Because my other point and click is already dead. It died within 5 minutes of leaving the other day. So anyway, we'll see you at the next site. I made it down the lake. It was pretty choppy, but it was all a headwind, so it was good because it kept the bow of the canoe into it, and it wasn't whitecaps, but it was pretty choppy. Headwind all the way, which, yeah, it tires you out because of the wind, but I'd rather that than trying to hit a side wind with that canoe. So it wasn't too bad, so I've made it all the way down to Red Pine Bay. And it's gotten extremely sunny and hot. So I'm gonna go jump in the lake and wash my clothes. Just give them a bit of a scrub to get the smell out of them. So I'll set up my hammock over there. I can throw up a tarp over top of the fire pit area in case we do get rain. Really pissed off. People, stop cutting live branches. You don't need to. They did it here and they did it over here. I don't know what purpose, other than maybe they were setting up something here, but stupid people. Okay, time to go get some firewood. And by the magic of camping vision, I've dehydrated pasta for dinner tonight. It's hydrating right now. It's 20 after 4. Going to let that sit for about an hour just to rehydrate. Then eventually, once I start up the fire, I'll heat it up over the fire. Save some gas for the morning when I want to make coffee. But going to have a little siesta right now. It's still extremely hot out. My watch has gone off a couple of times today for warnings of storms, but no rain or anything at all, and it doesn't look like it's going to. It may actually clear up tonight, which would be good, because it would be nice to actually see the perseid meteor showers. That's the intent anyways, is that I'd hopefully see that while I was here. Well, that was kind of neat. Snowshoe hare just hopped into the campsite and then ran back into the woods this direction. I didn't see him at first. I saw him just disappear under the trees over here. So I went and got my camera and larger lens, swapped it out. I managed to track him back towards where the privy is. And yeah, he was hopping around. So I know the video's shaky because it was a big lens and trying to handhold it. So apologize for that, but neat to see nonetheless. They're also different from the cottontail rabbits that we normally see out in southern Ontario. The snowshoe hares actually turn white in winter to match the snow, and then brown obviously like that one is in the summer to blend in for more camouflage. Lynx are their primary predator that eats them in the winter. Never seen a lynx. Camper Christina was very lucky on one of her videos not too long ago to have come across one up in Temagami that she got video of, which was incredible. So on my life list as well. So when I came into my hammock about half an hour ago, it was completely blue skies. I actually got out of the hammock because I was getting too hot because the sun was coming in to it too much. And right now, this is all blowing up in the last, like I said, 20 minutes. It had been perfectly blue skies. I was hopeful for the meteor shower tonight. It peaks tomorrow, so I still have an opportunity. But I thought I have actually heard the rumble of thunder out there as well, so I'm not going to bother setting up the second tarp at this point. But whether or not I have a fire, well, we'll see. Decided to come back. He's 30 feet away from me at most. So to come out for an evening troll just to see there are lake trout in Burntroot and then Red Pine Bay, so figured I'd try my luck for a little bit before having dinner. Not all that hungry right now, and it's starting to finally cool down a bit. So we'll have dinner in a little while. That might be why I didn't get any bites. Oh well. 10 to 8 now. And the mosquitoes are starting to come out. So I'm gonna light the fire and have my dinner, get it started. I already rehydrated the pasta, so now it just needs to really just warm up. So obviously he is not afraid of people or fire. This is strange. That's where I initially saw him, as he ran underneath. So I did bring a few luxuries. Premium dark chocolate, which melted a bit today. have a little bit of that shortly. And some 12-year-old Macallan. I realized not being able to go anywhere with COVID, I haven't been able to make it to the States to buy a cheap bottle of scotch, something good. So I'm going to have to look around locally, I guess, and find something I like here. Cheers. Well, the rain started, so couldn't capture any more lightning unprotected. So come into the hammock for now and see where this goes. See if it blows over. Hopefully it will blow over quick. But hopefully the phone also captured a bunch of shots. I'll put them in the video. So the thunderstorm has mainly passed by. It's 10 o'clock now. There actually wasn't a lot of rain with it. So I'm just going to go make sure the fire is completely out. I did pour a couple buckets on it, but I thought there would be a lot more rain, so just want to make sure it's completely out. So yeah, a minute and a half later, it's now pissing down rain. Oh well.